making an application available to the customer. That's your job. Most of the time, you will not be the one building that, but you will be the one grabbing that source code and making it available. There are a couple of environments where uh, you can use to make this website or this web app available. One of the most common one or the most famous one out there that everyone is using as a basic when you just get started is the one that is called the LAMP stack. So what is the LAMP stack? A LAMP stack is a bundle of four different software technology that developer use to build website and web application. LAMP is an acronym for Operating System Linux, the web server Apache, the database server MySQL, and the programming language PHP. So basically, LAMPs, when you hear the word LAMP, it stands for Linux Operating System, Apache Web Server, MySQL database, and the PHP language. Because an application needs all of these four to be able to be deployed out there. You will need an operating system because without the operating system, nothing, no application can run. Now, after you have an operating system, you also need a specific server that you will install on that operating system to be able to deploy your application. One of the most famous one is Apache. You will hear a lot about Apache. There is a new one that is coming up too that is called Nginx. We're also going to see Nginx in another project. So you have Apache as a web server. Then if your application is an application where you will have to interact with the user, that application will definitely need what we call a database. For that, you will need one of the most famous one. There are a couple of other ones out there like Mongo, DB and such, but MySQL database is the very first one you need to know about. Then finally, one of the greatest language ever, which is has been here for so long, is called PHP. So what we are going to do today is we're going to spin up one server or one EC2 instance, and we are going to use that single EC2 instance to create our LAMP stack. We're doing this because primary far back the days, this is how it was done. Before we get into where you are able to go on AWS, you grab a web server and you start working on it. In those days, we have data center, and within those data center, a single server will have to host everything. Today, we're going to build that single server that will host everything. It means a Linux operating system, Apache web server, MySQL database, and PHP. Then later on, we'll see how we don't have to have all of them on the same web server. We can separate like MySQL to another server just dedicated to MySQL. So let's just dive in. So I'll grab this instruction and guess all of you have the instruction as well because I pasted it over there. And the first step will be to spin up an EC2 instance. It means that we come over here and this is my console. You I already showed you as a prerequisite how to log into your console. We are not going to do that on every single project. Everyone is supposed to be able to sign up into his AWS account, then log in as an AMI user. So the next thing we're going to do here is go to step 3, which is in a VPC console, create a security group. So we are going to first create a security group for this instance. So here, usually you type EC2 here, You choose EC2 on hide it, and you're looking for security group. So here you can see security group right here. So once under network and security, once I click on that, I have all the security group here. Remember, on my own console, I am working on Northern Virginia. So US is 1. I don't have to create any VPC here. I'm going to be using the default VPC. So you don't worry about the VPC on this project. All you got to do is select your region where you want to work on. Now here, I want to create a security group. So I will hit create security group here. I want to give that security group a name. And since we are working with LAMP stack today, I'm going to say my LAMP. So LAMP security group, LAMP security group. I'm just going to name it this way to enable me to remember what exactly it is. So I'm going to copy that, paste it again here as a description, and you see it will default to the default VPC. I have no problem with that. It means if I created a VPC, then I have to select the VPC here. But since I'm not creating a VPC, I'm going to just use the default one that is provided to me. Then inbound rule, this is where I'm going to apply this. Okay. The first thing they're asking me to do is open port area to allow access to the internet. So on the inbound rule here, I'm going to add a rule, and the rule I want to add on this inbound rule will be HTTP. So HTTP is that only rule that opens port area. So when somebody say open port area, you know that you want to open HTTP. So that's the rule you want to set. So let's increase it like this so you can see it in one single line. So from here, I want it to happen to get access all over the internet. So that's why I'm choosing all over the internet here. After port 80, they want me to also open port 22. Port 22 is for SSH. So I will come over here and add another rule, and that rule will be SSH. And when I select SSH, you see the protocol is TCP and the port is 22. So I want to SSH. I will select all over the internet here, but trust me guys, you will not be doing this on a production environment. On a production environment, you will have a range of IP addresses that you have to select, or definitely you might select my IP address here. If I do that, it's going to give me my IP address, which I will be able to access this LAMP stack server. Okay, so for now, just for the purpose of making things convenient for me, I'm just going to pick all over the internet, no problem. So from everywhere. At this point, we're done. No changes on the outbound rule. You have to leave it like that. So you just hit create. It's going to create your security group for you. As you can see, security group was successfully created. So now you can go back here. Once I click that, it's taking me back to the security group. I now need to locate my security group that I just created, and I will need to name that security group. The security group is right here. I would like to name it, so I'll give it the same name. It was LAMP stack. What's that name again? Okay, let me just type it. So LAMP security group. So again, this name is the one I choose. You can choose any name so long as you remember exactly what that security group does, and you can go back when you're done with your assignment and delete the security group. Get used to naming your security group. That way you can grab it and you will separate it from the rest of the security group. So at this point, we are done with creating our security group. The next thing we got to do is,
Prof, I have a question.
yes, sir,
Is it possible to use like an existing one, or you are just doing this in case?
is
Or
yes. If you want to use an existing one, you can do that. But you got to make sure that your existing one have the inbound rule that we are looking for. It means that you have to open port 80 and open SSH.
okay,
Okay. So now that we got three done here, we can go on four. So basically, here we come on instance. On instance, you can see that I have no instance running here, and the assignment is telling me that I need to launch an EC2 instance. So that's why I will go here and hit launch EC2 instance. I will give a name for my EC2 instance. For me, I will type lamp stack instance. The reason why I'm doing this is because I want to know exactly what this one is doing, what it stands for me. And they are telling you here on the instruction that you have to use Ubuntu free tier instance. So here we're going with Ubuntu. You're going to leave Amazon Linux here and select Ubuntu. Now, from Ubuntu, you want a free tier. This is a free tier here. You can just select this one, or you can select the second one. The second one is also a free tier. So I'm just going to leave it as default there. That very first one is already a free tier. So I'm good to go with that. So on the architecture is 64-bit. I'm going to leave it like that. That's good. Here on the instance type is T2 micro. I'm going to leave it like that. That's still good for me. Then now on the key pair, guys, all I want you to do here, I, I want you to go in and select the key pair of your mobile extern key pair that you created last time. I hope you all have it, still have it on your. We're going to SSH into this using mobile extern. So the next thing we got to do here is on the network, we selected the key pair already. Then we're going to work on the IP address and the security group, which is next here. Here, we leave the VPC as default. We don't have to edit that. On the security group here, you can see here it says auto assign IP address, so we don't have anything to do. The IP address will be auto assigned. On the security group here, you have to hit this one, existing security group, and you go ahead and grab your security group, which for me is LAMP security group, the one I just created a couple of seconds ago up here. So from there is nothing else to do. We can just hit launch, and after launch, we can go ahead and view all instances. So once I click view all instances, I want to just populate the one that are running. So I'll select running here, and this is my EC2 instance that is running. So any question, who don't understand? Who is not yet at this stage? Or you all are just watching? Straightforward, right?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah,
It's
straightforward.
straightforward, but I'm not at this stage yet.
Okay. Are you at least do you have
Me too,
your
I'm not in that stage yet.
your desktop open already?
Yes, everything. Yes.
Okay. So which stage are you? Where are you right now? You created your EC2? You created your security group? Okay, nobody is saying anything as of now. Guys, you got to do it as we move along. Today is a very simple project, not as long as the one that we did on Saturday. So, this is a time for you to practice. If you keep it along and say, I'm going to do it later on, you're not going to do it. Because on Saturday, I'm going to hit you with another big project. And that's how you will get your feet wet. Project after project, project after project, guys. So take advantage of the time and you do exactly what we are doing here. If you keep it on the side, then you have to watch the video again. And let me just take this second to explain. The reason why we are providing you with a video of what we are demonstrating here is for you to go in and watch the video and do the same thing. If you don't use the video, then you're wasting your time. Is it if you know and you can go without the video, just follow the step, that's good. But if you cannot just follow the steps, that's the reason why you provide you with the video. So you have two things. You have the video on one side and you have the steps on the other side. Use the video, guys, and spend much time using the video, following the step one step at a time all the way to the end. Okay, so let's go to that was A. As you can see, we're done with A. The only thing we have to do here is SSH into that instance. So how are we going to SSH into this instance? This is how we go about it. So I'm going to select it here. That way it will open the details here. In the details, all I need is this public IP. Once I grab that public IP, I'm going to open my Mobax extern. So my Mobax extern is right here. This is my Mobax. I'm going to hit session here on Mobax. It's going to open this tab. Then from here, I go on host and paste my IP address here. After that, specify username. You guys remember this is Ubuntu. So the user here is Ubuntu. Now, once I type Ubuntu there, I'm going to go on advanced SSH setting. Then I'm going to use private key. And after that, I'm going to search into my computer and it get me directly here into DevOps. And you see all the keys that I have. This is the one that are assigned to this instance. So I'm going to open that and hit OK and just wait and see if everything was good. Good. You can see I'm already in. This is Ubuntu and this is my server here. This is how we SSH. Everybody okay?
I'm good.
Yes.
Okay. So now that we SSH, we can now go on step B here. Step B say install Apache and update the firewall. Basically, we don't even need to update firewall here because we already use our security group and we set up the security group for that. So all we need to do here is install our Apache and the port are already set. So the first thing here, you see here on one, it say install Apache using Ubuntu and the package manager for Ubuntu is apt. So you will see anytime you're practicing on Linux, depending on the flavor, you will have a specific package manager. When we're doing Amazon Linux, we often using Yum as a package manager because Yum is the package manager down there. But on Ubuntu, app is the package manager. So Ubuntu have app and it also have app get. And we are going to be using app here because we are working on Ubuntu. You can clearly hit the description here. It tells you run the following command to update a list.
Please, I
So
have a quick question.
yes,
Yeah, I want to say it's after the SSH that you have to switch to mobile extern.
you are SSHing in using mobile extend.
Okay.
SSH is you accessing your web server or your instance remotely. You are accessing it remotely using mobile extend. That's why, like you see, I share my screen to show you how I did for the SSH. So for the SSH, to just repeat myself a little bit, we created our server here. We created it here. This is our instance that we have created here. Now to SSH into this instance, you come here. Once you select that, it's going to show you the details. You're going to copy the public IP. You can see here public IP address copied. So once I copy that, I'm going to go on my computer and open Mobax Extern.
Okay.
This mobile extern. I'm going to open it, then I'm going to hit session here, and it's going to open this tab. I'm going to hit SSH. That's why I say pay attention, guys. Then I'm going to paste the IP address. Check the use specific user, and since we are on Ubuntu, it's going to be Ubuntu user. Now once you do that, you need the key, you need a private key. So you're going to select advanced SSH here and you check use private key, then you select your private key here. It's going to get you to this directory and you're going to select mobile extend. You hit open here, then you hit OK. I don't want to hit OK here because I already got it open. And with this, you have SSH into your instance that you created on AWS. And I do have a video. That's why I was saying here a couple of seconds ago. Maybe you did not listen to me. I do have a video that I provided to you guys on Slack about SSHing using mobile extend and using Puri. It's very when I paste a video on Slack, it's because you need it. Remember, we are going somewhere. So everything I'm giving it step by step because I know you have to use it. So if you haven't watched that video yet, the video is just about 30 minutes. It's about 27 minutes, something like that. Watch the video, practice the video on how to SSH into a server because this is the third time we're doing it. We did it on Monday too. Once we were practicing on Monday, we had to SSH, and I show you how to SSH. But before then, I had a video on that already. So please watch the video. That will avoid wasting your time, and you will understand what is going on anytime we get here because we will have a lot of things to do. Watch the video, guys. Watch the videos. So at this point, the package manager is this one. So we're gonna update. This is the command that they are giving you here to update. All I want you to do is follow the instruction. The instruction is self-explanatory and is telling you what exactly you're doing. So right here to update, I'm going to select all these commands here. It is sudo app update and -y. The reason why I'm putting -y is because I don't want it to prompt me to answer yes at some point. So once you select that, you're going to paste that here by hitting your by right clicking on your mouse. So once I'm here, I'm going to just hit enter. As you can see, it's already pasted there. So enter is going to do the installation for me. So it's going in, checking on all the update, and it's going to grab them and install them on my Ubuntu machine. I'm giving it some time. As you can see, it's done. So right now my update is done. To clear your screen, you can hit Control L on your keyboard. Once I hit Control L on my keyboard, you can see my screen is clear. I can now move to the second question. So my system is updated. Now to run Apache 2 package installation, you have to use this command. So on the second one, I'm pay attention very well what I'm doing, because you're supposed to be doing the same thing. So I will copy sudo app install Apache 2 hyphen y. So paste it here. You see that same command, I'm pasting it here. Then now I'm going to hit enter. So remember, this process is installing Apache. So that's what he's doing here. I told him to install Apache 2, and I'm just going to leave him to go in and do the job for me. He's installing Apache 2 right now. As you can see, he's working on the background, and the job is done. Apache 2 is installed. So at this point, I can see clear my screen by hitting Control C. My screen is clear. I can move to the next. So next, verify that Apache is running as a service in the OS. So in this operating system, let me verify that Apache is running. To verify that Apache is running, there is a famous command that is called systemctl. For all the Linux people that are here, they are mostly used to systemctl to check on services that are running. So that's what we're going to use here. We say sudo because we are not a root user, but this command could also work with just systemctl. So, but let's go sudo systemctl status Apache. So we're just trying to see what is the status of Apache. Is Apache running, or is Apache just not running? So this command is going to tell us what Apache is doing. Once you paste that, you hit enter. Once you see here on the active, you see green here, active green, and it say running, you know Apache is running. This is your confirmation. If it's not running, it will tell you that it's dead. Okay, but here it's telling you that Apache is running, is active. So you're good. On Apache, you already install Apache. You see here, they say the green light indicate Apache is running. So you can now access Apache by using this command on the shell. Okay, but for us, I definitely, because I know most of you here are newbies, so we don't want to bore you about the new stuff. We're going to get you to the what is very important. The command that is very important for you right now is this one down here. You can use the curl to verify for those that want to play around with it, but I want you to come here and use this one. And this is what I'm going to show you, how to use this one. So you want to verify on the web browser that Apache is running. How do you do? The first thing is minimize this. Go on your web browser here. This is your Apache, this is your LAMP stack server here. I want you to copy the public IP address. So watch carefully, guys. We're here. This is what we're trying to apply here. So you copy your public IP address. You open a new tab on the web browser. See, I have opened a new tab. Then I will type HTTP, then colon. After colon, I'm going to do forward slash forward slash. Then I'm going to paste that IP address that I just copied, then do colon again, then type 80. Means I want to see it on port 80. And usually you want to end it by another forward slash. So hit enter, and you can see that yes, Apache default web page is here, and it tells you it worked. At this point, you can say that you already have Apache installed. So if you're following the step, you will see that the first thing we got is our Linux operating system. That's what we did here on the first by installing Ubuntu. Ubuntu is a Linux operating system. Now, we already achieved this one here. Apache web server is on. So all we got to do is MySQL database and PHP. Then we have the LAMP. So this server already have a Linux operating system. You also have Apache installed in it. So who don't understand? All we all good at this point.
I'm good.
I'm good.
Okay. All right. So if we are good, remember, like I told you, we already here on the LA. Now it means that we will need two other components to complete our LAMP. We need the MySQL and we need the PHP. So at this point, it says C install MySQL. Even MySQL will be very, very simple. There is a reason why this project is on Wednesday. We put it on Wednesday because we don't want you to have much headache. It's mostly on Saturdays that you will have big project. So this one, you take advantage of it and you play around with it the same night you are done with the project. So here, how to install MySQL on this server. So in this step, we install a database management system. So the database management system to be able to store and manage data for the site in a relational database. Run app to acquire and install this software. So you need to run this command here. One, you running this command. This command says sudo app install MySQL server. So this is what you are installing. You're going to use this package manager to install it. So we copy this command. As you can see, I hit control copy and I will get back here. Then I will just paste it here. So once I hit enter, it's going to do the job for me. Just wait for him. 12%. It's going to take a couple of seconds, 30, 40, 46%, 50, 82%. We are about to hit 90. Then we are going to 100% and everything should be done. So we wait patiently for him to do the installation for us. So the process here is to install MySQL. He's going to do the entire installation for us. So let's just be patient a little bit for that. So as you can see, something is happening. Something is cooking on the background. And we're done. So we are done. MySQL is installed. So let's go and follow the next step. On two, they say,
When there's an error like this, what does it mean? Because the error is that I'm seeing error in red there. It doesn't mean anything.
now this error that you can see here does not have anything. Matter of fact, it's not really an error to the system here. What it's telling you, if you read it carefully, is say MySQL D will log errors to var log MySQL slash error dot log. That's not an error. It just choose to write error in red. Okay,
Okay.
but
Okay.
that's an information that is given you. It means that once, let's say you are a system admin, a Linux system admin, for example, and this server, this SQL server is not responding and something is wrong. You need to know where to go and look at the log. The error log is very important for system admin. That's where they go and they start checking what exactly the system is telling us. Why is it failing? So here, this installation is telling you that if you want to locate the error logs, you will find it on this directory, and that directory is what? var log mysql error. Do you get it now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So they just choose to write error in red because that's a very important file for the administrator to know where to locate it, because it will help them in so many instances to make sure the system is running well. So at this time, we are already done with the first question here on installing MySQL. We will have to go to the next one. So once installation is complete, log into MySQL console by running this command. Guys, now that we install MySQL have what we call a default root. We need to configure MySQL to be able to manipulate that SQL server, like creating a database and doing a couple of stuff in it. So for that, initially we will have to configure the root. So to do that, you have to go in here first. Let me just clear my screen. So we start from the beginning. We have to be able to log into that SQL server that we just installed. And the command say to log in the SQL server, you just use sudo mysql. So I will paste it here, sudo mysql. Note Please note the change. Right here, we are on Ubuntu, the Linux server. We are not in the MySQL server yet. But once I will hit enter, you will see the change. So enter here, you will see that we have completely changed and we are here, MySQL. Now we are in the server. So we are in the database, the relational database server right now. It have a complete different language from the one we are using on the Linux. So the way this server speak is completely different. It use the SQL language. So here, the command will be different. So we want the first command here will be to change the root password and to even give that root a password, because initially the root user on the SQL server doesn't have a password. So the alter command here is the one that usually change something within the SQL. So you will copy this alter command here and you will just paste it in here. So what that command is doing is saying that alter user root at localhost. So what we are doing here is basically telling you that change the configuration of root here in the local root in the local host. Your local host is this your server. Every server identify itself as a local host. Then with the other ones, they will identify them with another name. But once a server is referring to himself, he call himself local host. So we change the configuration of a root in the local host by doing what? What exactly in that configuration we want to change? Identify with MySQL native password by password.1. So we are basically saying that with the native password of the root here, we'll have to change it to password 1. So as we know that root doesn't have a password, definitely this operation is giving root a password. At this point, if I hit enter here, you see it say query OK, 0 row affected, and it took 0.01 second. So that is done. The next thing you're going to do is exit. Those that have done SQL database here, they will know that there are a couple of ways to exit. You can type exit here, or you can do /Q. So for those that like typing, you just type exit like this. You can see it changed color, and when I hit enter, I'm out. And it even tells me bye. Okay, this means that he knows that I was in the database, in the SQL database, and I came out from it. Now I'm back into Ubuntu. That's why he's telling me bye. Okay, so from this point, we will now have to go and run an interactive script here to more configure our SQL database, because the SQL database have to be secure. For it to be secure, you have to do some configuration so that most of the people out there will not be able to access it. So for that, we are now on step 5 here, and you are going to run this command: sudo mysql secure installation. So we're going to run the command secure installation. You copy that command and you come here and you paste the command. From this point, if I hit enter, it's going to ask me for the root password. Guys, if I did not set the root password, this is going to block me. But what is the root password here is this one: capital P S capital P A S S capital W O R D .1. So this is what you got to type here. So you type capital P A S S capital W O R D .1, and now it start doing the secure installation for you. If you get to this point, this is where you have to start reading, because you are going to follow the instruction here. You start reading what it tells you. Validating password component. So validating password component can be used to test password and improve security. If it check the strength of password and allow the users to set only those passwords which are secure enough. Would you like to set up validate password component? Would you like to set up that? Just like explained, if you set up this tool, every single user for this database will have to set a strong password. There will be no such things like a weak password. So in this environment, you have to say yes. You can choose no if you want your database to be permissive. So say yes, like you see here, and you hit enter, it takes you to the next step. So it tells you here that there are 3 levels of password validation policy: the low length, which is 8, the medium, which is more than 8, but you have numeric, mixed case, and special character, or the strong length, which have the length is more than 8, but you have numeric, mixed case, special character, and dictionary. So which one will you choose? They're giving you option. If you choose the first one, you enter 0. If you choose the medium, you enter 1. If you choose the strong, you enter 2. I'm going to go for strong. So I'll hit 2, then hit enter. We'll move to the next step. So using existing password for root. Estimated strength for the password is 100%. They are asking you now, change the password for root. Do you want to change this password? This is the password for root, if you can remember here. So here, they are saying change the password for root. You have to say yes or no. So for me, I don't want to change the password for root. I don't want that hassle. The password for root is already 100%. So they say any other key for no. I would rather hit N for no, then do enter. Then, so you see how it says keeping? It means you will not going to change that password. But if you hit yes, is you have to provide a new password for root. So while you are doing this, just pay attention. If you say yes at that point, you provide a new password that is strong. So by default, a MySQL installation has an anonymous user, allowing anyone to log into MySQL without having to have a user account created for them. This is intended for only testing and to make the installation go a bit smoother. You should remove them before moving into production environment. So they are advising you, and they are first informing you that anytime you launch a MySQL server, there will always be anonymous users that are in there just to allow you set up the server smoothly. But once you have to move your application into production, make sure that you remove this anonymous user. It means if you don't, anyone can access your server. So what are we going to do? The question here is remove anonymous user, yes or no? What do you guys think? We remove them or we leave them?
Remove.
We remove, right? So we're going to
Yep.
say yes. We want, because the purpose here is to make our database very secure. So we're going to say yes. Let him remove them. So, yes, you can see success. So, they have successfully removed them. So, normally, root should only be allowed to connect from local hosts. This ensures that someone cannot guess a root password from the network. So, let me explain very well what it means here. It means that they are advising you to set up your MySQL to the point where the only way to access this MySQL will be someone having access to this Ubuntu machine. That's what they call the local host. Anytime a computer is saying local host, he's referring to himself. So you cannot be on your own personal computer and be accessing this SQL server. So doing that is securing the more our SQL server. So what do we do? Disallow root login remotely. We're gonna say yes. We want to disallow root login remotely. So to log into this SQL, you have to use this Ubuntu machine itself. So we go yes. Okay. So the next thing is by default, MySQL comes with a database named test that anyone can access. This is also intended for testing and should be removed before moving into production. So remove test database and access to it. I will say yes here. And you see it says success. So you have removed the test database by dropping that database, then removing all the privileges for that. Now, if reloading the privilege tables will ensure that all changes made so far will take effect immediately. So we have made a couple of changes so far. Since the last 5 to 10 minutes, we have just been working on changes here. If we don't reload right now, everything that we have done here will not have effect. So they are asking us to reload the privilege table now, yes or no. So obviously the answer here is yes. We want to reload the privilege table right now. So changes will take effect, and you can see we all done, and we get back to our command prompt. So we done enforcing and securing our database, our MySQL database. So at this point, nobody can access this SQL database if he doesn't have a password. Remember today, to access the SQL database, I just typed sudo MySQL and I was in. Okay, I didn't have to do anything else. Sudo MySQL and I was in. Now it's not going to be possible to access it now. I will have to type sudo MySQL, but I will have to implement the password too. So let's go and copy this. So you see how it's asking me now to input the password, different from the time where I just write sudo MySQL and it got me in. So if I don't remember the password, that's my business. It's not going to let me in. But fortunately, I know the password is capital P A S S capital W O R D dot one and enter. You see, I'm in my SQL database and I can start doing anything that I want. That was just the purpose of testing. So at this point, I can exit. And like we said before, if you just type exit here, you're going to be out of that database. So at this point, we can say we are done with C installation of MySQL. We have installed MySQL Server on Ubuntu, and set up we have set up the security on this SQL server so that anyone that have access to these servers will have a password, but a strong password to access our database server. So this means that at this point we already have LAMP. All we need to do is the PHP language, and which will be the final stroke of our lamp today. So, any question before I move to that final stroke? As you can see, it's easy like yesterday. It's just like two commands. Basically, it's one command to install PHP. Any question?
Not for me. Easy peasy.
Okay. I hope you say that on Saturday when we'll be working on a dynamic website, because we're going to use a lamp stack on the dynamic website.
I mean, this one was easy. I didn't say the Saturday was
You,
easy
you
because I
remember
already seen it here.
this website that we're working on? We did not use any database. So it was easy and it was just click, click, click. The next one on Saturday will not be click, click, click. You're going to create it yourself, and you're also going to create the database. I'm not scaring you. It's a good project. It's easy e-commerce website, and basically you understand how people deploy e-commerce website out there. We are also going to do another one with the most famous WordPress, because I know everywhere you go out there you see WordPress website. So it's going to be another project too. So by the end of this month, every single type of website out there, you're going to know how they deploy them, whether it's a lamp, a mean, or a MERN stack. You're going to know exactly how it's deployed. You don't have to build the code, but if they give you the code, you will know how to deploy it and make it a website available to anyone and secure. Okay.
So, excuse me. So, what did you just do right now? So, because I'm saying you created a database, or
I
I'm trying
just
to
I just install
install.
here. I just install MySQL.
And this is inside the database.
MySQL, I install MySQL inside my Ubuntu server.
Okay.
So I created an Ubuntu server and I install. I first started by
MySQL.
install Apache web server. Then now I'm installing MySQL server here. This is the third thing that I install. The next will be PHP.
Okay.
So everything here is getting installed on a single server. I am not working and I am not setting all these tools in different servers. It's one server. This Ubuntu server here, this is where I'm installing everything.
Mm-hmm.
I am installing everything in one single server. So, following the step right now, we are on PHP. Just like I explained to you guys today, all we are doing is doing the lamp stack. It means that we install the Linux, the Apache, the MySQL, and the PHP. Linux directly we do it on the console by choosing Ubuntu. It's going to install Linux for us. Then we SSH in, we manually install our Apache, then we manually install our MySQL, and we are now on the final stroke by manually install our PHP language. Once we do that, we have successfully built our LAMP stack in one server. Okay, let's go and apply this.
Prof,
Yes.
I don't know. On my mobile XTEM terminal, it is telling me network error, connection timeout.
Your mobile extern is telling you network error connection timeout.
Yeah,
Okay, can you share your screen here?
correct. Are you guys seeing my screen?
Hold on. It looks like I am not seeing your screen.
Let me see. Okay, okay. This one.
Is
Are you seeing?
Yeah, I can see.
okay.
Mm.
Hmm.
Is
Okay.
there an
So
instance running?
Yeah, the instance, the Lamstack instance is running.
okay. Go back on your AWS web browser.
Okay. Pull it over. Right there, instance.
Yeah, you are not sharing the AWS. Drag it here so that we can see it.
Yeah, I'm dragging it. Are you guys seeing?
We see your mobile.
Oh,
We're
sorry.
still seeing your mobiles.
Let me go back and fix it. Can you guys see it now?
We're
No.
still not seeing it, Charles.
Maybe if you minimize your mobile screen.
Now,
Okay.
I think what Charles is doing is he was sharing his mobile extern. He should share but his screen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Are you seeing now?
We're waiting for
No.
you to share. He's coming. It's not yet. Okay. We are seeing your screen right here now. Open your web browser where you have my number 10 is not easy. Oh.
When are you?
We're seeing you and your beautiful wife.
I know. He said I should open the. This is the web browser where I have the.
Okay, that's what we wanted to see right here.
Okay, no
Now
problem.
you
Go back to
go
your
back again. We
internet.
are not seeing it. Okay, drop it there. That's good. Now I want you to go to instance. Okay, just type running there. We just need the one that is running. We don't want every single
let me
one.
stop this one.
Yeah. You can stop it later on. We're still on the demo. Just type running somewhere there and
Okay.
we get the one that are running. You see on that search box right there,
This is the one
type
where is
running.
running, the lamp stack.
Okay, that's the lamp stack. Click on that. Okay, here you have the IP address. My problem here, I need to find out why it's not running. Go on the security tab. You see here you have details. I need you to go on security tab. Okay, security tab. You have the Lampstack security group, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I
I
will need
think
to.
I see the problem.
You see the problem?
Oh, no, 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 no. Okay, no, I got
Okay,
it.
on the security, yes, scroll down, Charles. That's what I wanted to see. Scroll down. Okay, we see that you have the two and the port is open. That's good. Now, what else I wanted to see here? I wanted to see your key. Which key did you use?
Oh, I guess I didn't create a key. I forgot. Okay,
Okay,
okay, I'll create a key.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
thinking the
I
port
already
was the
created a key. I
problem.
already created a key. The key, the mobile extend key that we have.
yes, you need to attach that key to this.
Oh, okay, 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 okay,
Yeah,
okay,
you
okay.
you
All
always
right.
need to attach it to your instance.
Okay, okay, okay. We can, with that case, we can move on now. Since I know.
Okay,
Okay. All right. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Yeah.
All right, so let me take over and start sharing my screen again.
Let me stop sharing.
I want to share my entire screen. This is Charles here, so I can share this one. Okay, everyone see my screen?
Yeah.
Did you see Apache 2?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
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 Okay, so let me just pull this down. We were here where we are about to install PHP. So here on my mobile extern, I'm going to clear this and I'll grab this command here. It says to install these three packages at once, run this. So there are three packages that I'm going to install here. The first package is going to be PHP, this one here. Then second package is going to be the lib Apache 2 mode PHP. Basically, it's going to be a dependency that you need in your server to be able to run Apache and PHP together, to connect them together and run smoothly. But since you also have MySQL, you also need another dependency here to link Apache with MySQL, to link PHP with MySQL. So these three, I'm going to install them together with using one command. So this is why Linux is much more better than Windows out there, because Linux allow you to do these kind of things at once. If it was on Windows Server, you will need to install each one of them every single.
Sorry, can you go over the command again? What is the command doing?
Okay, sudo app install. This on Ubuntu, this means that this is a command to install. Now, what are you installing? You're installing, here we are installing PHP first because this part is to install PHP. But after you install PHP, you want PHP to function normally with Apache. You want to connect your PHP with Apache. So you also need to install a dependency, a PHP dependency that will work with Apache too. This is the dependency here that they are providing to you. So you want to you also install lib Apache 2 mode PHP. Then since you also have MySQL, you also want to connect MySQL with PHP. So you need to install also this package here to connect MySQL with PHP. These things, guys, you don't have to remember them. You just have to follow the steps. These are stuff that anytime you will have to install, you will have the step for you to install, but you need to know how to use those steps. If you go to the website, like to MySQL website or to PHP website, they will definitely give you the step to connect. The problem, the problem when you are a DevOps or a developer or so is how capable are you to follow the steps, because there are so many instructions out there. Can you follow the steps? Is a very difficult part for those that are still learning DevOps. So for here, you just have to copy this command, and they already told you what the command will do. It will install the tree package for you. So copy this command here and come over here and paste it. So once I paste it, I'll have to hit enter and just relax. You see how it's asking me why. I'll have to hit Y here. So that's why in couple of things ago, I usually put -y so I don't need to answer those type of questions. So here you can see he's installing PHP 8, 8.1. That's the PHP he's going to install, and at this point he have installed everything and everything is good, but we are not sure if everything is good. So we're going to check the version of PHP. To verify that PHP is installed, we're going to type here PHP-V, which means checking the version of PHP. Once we hit enter, it's going to tell us the version of PHP that is installed. You see here, PHP 8.1.2. This is an Ubuntu version, -1, Ubuntu 2.11. It's even giving us everything. It's a Zen engine. It's a Zen technology. This is coming from Zen with a Zen 0 Apache, all the information. So you retain that this is the version of PHP. So PHP is installed here. So at this point, it tells you that at this point, the LAMP stack is completely installed and fully operational. So guys, basically here you can say you are done. At this point here, we can definitely say we are done. This server have all these three. You have the Linux, you have Apache, you have MySQL, and you have PHP. Now, for bonus, we can move one step forward here and create a virtual host for your website using Apache. Virtual host means that usually when you have a server like this, you want to run multiple websites. So for that, you need what they call a virtual host. So an environment where you can put server 1, server 2, server 3, and basically it does not have the same configuration like the original one that Apache provided. So this is an extra step, but know for sure that we have already created our LAMP stack. So let's go and continue here with creating virtual hosts for your website using Apache. To create a virtual host, you need to create a folder, okay? So for that, I want to let you into something first. Let me go and ls. I want to ls var ww. So once you ls var ww, you will see that there is a folder in this var ww that is called HTML. So let's even go further and see what is in that HTML. If you look at it very well, there is index.html that is in this folder. Mainly, this is usually what we call the root directory of a website in an Apache web server. So the website, this is where you drop all the files for your website. For those that know how to build HTML website, you will drop them in here. So what I'm just telling you right now is that we are going to create another folder different from the HTML, because this folder is already for the HTML, is the default folder for this web server. We are going to create another one, and this one will be a virtual. This one is called Project Lamb. Okay, so we go and hit sudo here. We copy this command and we paste it here and hit enter. Now, if I run this same command again up here, you will see the difference. So let me go up arrow, and run this command. This is the command I ran today and it gave me this. Let me run the same command again now. You will see that now I just created a new folder. It's not anymore HTML only that is in this WW. It will also have another folder, and this one is called Project Lamp. We are the one that gave it that name. So once we create that folder, we have to give ownership to that folder to our user. Who is our user here? Our user here is Ubuntu. You will see that if I long list this directory by doing L-L here and alt dot, you will see that the owner of this folder is root. So I want to change the owner of this folder to be the user that I have right now. So what will I do? That's assign ownership of the directory with your current system user. So for that, I will copy this command here and paste it here. Hit enter. Okay, so this command, what it does, my current system user is Ubuntu. I want to assign the ownership of this directory of Project Lamp to Ubuntu. As you notice here, I first show you that the ownership is for root. If I run that ls command again, you will see the difference. Right now, what do you guys see? You see that now Ubuntu is the ownership of this directory. So that's what we just did here. So next, create and open a new configuration file in Apache site available directory. So for that, you have to type this command here. But before typing that, I want to let you into what is actually happening. So we are talking about Apache site available. So let's go here. No, I don't need this. So let's go here and list Etsy. We want to list everything that is on Etsy, Apache 2. So let's go. Once we do that, you can see here that we have Apache config, which is a file. We have a conf enable. This is a folder, a directory. We have magic is file, mode enable file, but we do have site available, a folder here. And that's what we are talking about, site available. So we do have site available. We also do have site enable. Okay, so and you will notice that this one, we did not create it. It's because we install Apache that they created themselves automatically. We did not do that. So those folders exist automatically when we create Apache, when we create our LAMP stack. So now they are telling us to come into this folder and create a file that is called projectlamp.conf. So the question you might ask yourself before doing that, what are the files that are in there? So I will hit up arrow here, then I will try to list or look into everything that is in this folder first. You can see that in this folder, these are the two files that you see in this folder, 0.0.0-default.conf and default-ssl.conf. So we will create another folder in here now. To create that folder, we will use the nano editor. So you copy this command now. So what I just did was to explain and show you what is in this folder first before I create it. So I will go in here now, paste the command, hit enter. I am now in Nano. Nano editor is one of the most easiest editor that you can ever find in Linux. Very easy to use, but most people are just scared of it because they want a fancy Vim or I don't know, VI, any other one that you're finding out there.
I
But if
prefer VI.
but Nano is the most easiest one because all you need is to know that you have to control X and hit Y to save and hit enter to come out. And that's it. And that's Nano for you. And you will see it right here now. So this is Nano Editor. I don't need to type anything here. I don't need any command. I just need to copy what I want to paste in there and paste it. That's how easy Nano is. So in Nano, I want to paste this. This is how I will configure the virtual host. I want to configure the virtual host, and this is how it should be. So I will copy this entirely, copy, then I will come over here and I will paste it. That's Nano, nothing else. Then now I need to save and close the file. To save this file and close, on my keyboard, I will hit Control X. Then it will take me here, as you can see. It will ask me, save, modify, buffer. You have to hit Y for yes and N for no. So I will hit Y for yes. Now that is saved, I will just hit enter to come out. How easy is that, guys? That's Nano. Nothing else. Is as simple as you can see. So,
Easy, but I'm used to VI.
okay. Now that we did that, we are now on step 6. Use the ls command to show the new file in site available directory. So let's just go on the up arrow again because we already used that. You see that here, etc Apache 2 site available. And if you look at here, this is the command that they were asking us today. They even put sudo here. We don't need sudo. So once we do here, we hit enter, you will see that now it's different. The first time it had just these 2 files, right? Now here we have these 3 files. There is another file, and another file that was added here. Okay, so following the instruction, next use A2 nsite command to enable the new virtual host. Okay, so let's go in and copy this command here. We're going to paste it here. We want to enable this new virtual host. So this will be the command, and you can see it says enabling site project lamp. To activate new configuration, you need to run systemctl reload Apache. So we are not going to activate it yet. We are going to continue here by disabling the other ones. Remember, guys, we have the 00 default and we have the default SSL. So we are going to here disable the 00 default. So they say disable the default website that comes installed with Apache. So Apache comes with this 00 default website installed in it. You want to disable it so that the only site that will be enabled is this one, this virtual one that you created yourself. So you will copy this command here and you're going to paste it here. It's going to do the disable for you. So you see here, it's going to give you 00.disable the site. So the site now is disabled. So at this point, the next thing you're going to do is ensure your configuration file doesn't contain syntax error. You want to make sure that your configuration file doesn't contain syntax error, so you will run this command to check it out. You see, it says syntax is okay. So at this point, you're good to go. Finally, you can now reload your Apache. So you can now hit sudo systemctl reload Apache 2. All right. So we almost at the end here. So the website is active, but the web root var w.project is still empty. That's what they are telling you, that this folder that you created here is still empty. It means that there is nothing in it. If I do ls here and do etc Apache 2, oh no, that's not where we are. We are on var ww, then we go project. Okay, if we ls that, you will see that there is nothing. Okay, it doesn't show anything. That's what they are telling you, that this virtual project file is still empty. So they are asking you to create an index file in that location so that we can test that the virtual host work as expected. So to create that, you have to copy this long command. This is just a command that will help you test. It's a very long command. You have to copy out the entire command. So you copy that. You're going to come over here and paste that command. And now that you pasted that command, it's going to go in and create an index file for you. So we hit enter here. Now that everything is done, let's verify that the index command was created first. So we go up arrow and we run that command again. So once we run ls var www.temp, you're going to see that now there is an index file in here. Remember, we run it before and there were nothing, right? Now the index file is in. But let's not just say the index file is in. Can we go on the web browser and see this? Let's see if that's going to be possible. Let me just hit refresh here. You see that, guys? This is what is in there. Hello lamp from host with my IP. So it means that this lamp virtual host is actively running. So it is running. We can now go down and see if we can enable PHP on the site. Any question?
No.
Are
We
you
um,
like the dog in the front of the TV?
we're almost done, guys. The steps here are more descriptive. It means that you basically have nothing to do but follow the steps, do the command. Every single step is explained as you're looking at the file. You see from the beginning to the end, I'm just copying and pasting, copying and pasting. I'm running the stuff. I'm not going anywhere, guys. So that's what I want you to do too. Okay. So let's go here. We have to enable PHP on the website. So we have this virtual web host here. We want to enable PHP. So what does the instruction say? The instruction is saying that with the default setting of Apache, a file name index.html will always precede over an index.php. Okay? To make
Are you?
index.php take precedence, we need to edit the etc apache mode enable directory conf file and change the order in which the index.php file is listed within this directory. So let's go and let me explain to you what exactly is going on. They make mention of this specific file here. Okay, so let me first clear my screen and let's start by listing that file, that folder. So we are basically talking about this folder here. Let me just grab it, paste it here. So list everything that is in there. So we have on etc apache mode enable. We have a specific file that we are looking for is dir.conf. This is the file here. This is the file we are talking about. So in this file, there is a specific order which index.php and index.html are listed. We want to change that order. So let's go in and let me show you what is happening. Copy and paste it here. At this point, let me hit enter and we're going to go into Nano. Okay, we are in the file. This is the file. This is what they are saying. They are saying that right here on directory index, you start by having index.html, then you have index.cgi, then you have index.pl before even getting to index.php. What that means is if we within a folder we have index.html file and we have index.php file. Once you run it on the web browser, it's index.html that will open first because index.html here comes before index.php. And that's what they are explaining here as file precedence. Okay? They say that index.html will always come first unless we change this. How do we change this? The only way to do it is to make sure this index.php come before index.html. So how am I going to do that? Guys, let's see. So I'm going to go down one step. I'm going to go here before index.html. I'm going to hit space and type index.php. Basically, what I'm doing is I want index.php to be the first. So I'm putting it before index.html. So to complete it, I need to come here and remove the previous index.php at this position here. I will remove that and I'm done. I changed the order in this file. Now, who is the first? The first is index.php. So at this point, what I'm saying is, if I have index.php and index.html in the same file, in the same folder, is index.php that will open on the web browser. It will not even act as if index.html exists. That's what we're doing here. But the default configuration is HTML that was first. So once you change that, you can now hit Control X. Did I save it? Hold on, let me verify first. Okay, everything is good here. So you can hit Control X and save that. At this point, we already made these changes here. So we can now close the file. So we did step 2. We save the file on step 3. The last thing we have to do here, we are on step 4 where we need to reload. So to reload, we're going to copy this, which is sudo systemctl reload Apache. So we're going to reload Apache so that everything have to work out good. Apache need to accept the configuration. So here we hit enter. Apache have reloaded. So we can come here and read the final step. Finally, we can create a PHP script that tests that Apache is correctly installed, configure on your server. So create a new file named index.php inside the custom web root folder, and you have to run this. So we go in and copy this command and we paste it here. So what we are doing is we are creating index.php. So let's paste that here. The index.php is empty. For that, we need to come here and copy this, and we're going to paste it in index.php right there. And now we're going to hit Control X, then Y, and save. Now that we save, we can check what is in there and you will see. So let's go and do the ls. We want to ls the var ww project. Let's see what we got in. You can see that we have two files in here. We have index.html and index.php. Now, which one of those will come on the web browser? Let's go on our web browser and see. Since we have saved and closed, where is our web browser? Right here. This is our web browser, and this is the one that were there before. So let me just say it again. You remember when we had index.html today? This is the index.html. It says hello lamb from host with public IP. So we have this here. Now let's see if we change and get this one here. So if it changes, then we're good. So now I will just hit here and hit enter. Congratulations! This is the PHP file. It's giving us our PHP version. So guys, when you reach here, you have clearly configured your LAMP server and you have configured the virtual hosting on this LAMP server to the point where you can now go on this virtual host and create all the websites that you want. I used to play around this on my local computer a couple of years ago. I was creating three, four. You can create even 20 websites here. They will all run on your web browser. But this is how you set your LAMP stack. And once you get here, is guys, congratulations and thank